Fixing my back pain was a frustrating process that left me at a loss until I started performing these three movements regularly. In this video, I'm going to share with you my story of how I dealt with back pain for almost 2 years and the three exercises that helped me recover from it and get back to training at full capacity. If you have ever experienced back pain and have found effective ways to cope with it, whether that's exercises or lifestyle factors, leave a comment below with your advice to help other people also deal with back pain that they're experiencing. I was 20 years old when I injured my back, and it was during peak COVID. I was in this exact gym and I strained my back trying to lift more weight than my technique could handle. I was still relatively new to training, but I've been training long enough to know that I should have had better movement. As soon as I strained my back, I followed the advice that everybody gives, which is rest until it gets better. So I slumped on the couch and waited for my back to get better, which it never did. Evidently, it ended up making my back even worse and forced me to sleep on the floor for 2 years straight and never sit down without any back support. Once I started really uncovering what was causing my back pain and performing these three exercises, it was almost overnight when I could see the progression. And now to this day, I'm back at full capacity and my back feels as strong and as healthy as ever. The first exercise that I discovered was the prone back extension. This is a movement where you lay flat on your front, you keep your toes in the ground, and then you extend through your spine and hold your shoulders as high as possible with your hands off the ground. This trains the spinal erectors, which is the muscle that runs up the length of your spine, and your deep core muscles. This helps train and stabilize those muscles to help protect your spine throughout everyday movement. I heard of a study that said if you cannot do this exercise for more than 3 minutes, you are much more likely to experience back pain. So what I did this exercise every single day. I could only do it for 1 minute to begin with, and every day I added 10 seconds until I got to 3 minutes. I also included reps at this movement, so I would do 10 reps with a 10-second hold to try and really strengthen and activate those muscles that were extremely weak for my back. The second exercise that I did regularly was hip thrust with a hold. I did this with a band around my knees to really help turn on my glutes. It's so common in modern day that people's glutes are very inactive due to prolonged sitting at a desk, which causes when they stand up for other areas to overcompensate for the work that the glutes aren't doing. If your glutes are weak or inactive, your lower back may overcompensate when you go through hip extension or your hamstrings. You may experience this if you always feel like your hamstrings are overworking when you're running. That may be an indicator that your glutes just aren't doing their job. For me, my glutes weren't weak, but they were very inactive. They wouldn't turn on at the right time, causing my back to overcompensate for any movement that required hip extension. I did 2 sets of 10 reps with a 10-second hold. The first 5 reps always felt like I was doing nothing. It felt like it wasn't easy, but I just couldn't tell you what muscles were working. By the end of reps 6 to 10, my glutes were on fire. While holding my hips up high and pushing my knees out, that helped turn on the muscles of my glutes that just were never active. I remember hearing people talk about doing lunges and feeling their glutes, and I could just never understand how you feel your glutes when you do your lunges. After doing this exercise for almost 6 months, I remember doing a set of lunges, and for the first time ever, I actually felt my glutes working. So it's not always necessarily that you're not strong enough, but those muscles just aren't active enough. Once you can activate your glutes, your hamstrings and your lower back will stop overcompensating for them. The third exercise I started doing regularly was the Romanian deadlift. This exercise helps strengthen the lower back, but the main purpose of it was to learn proper technique. It's so common for people to go through a hip hinge and unable to maintain a neutral spine as they do so. When your spine is a very flexible series of joints which allows us the ability to move and be flexible, but when under load, it doesn't want to be flexed or be in a compromised position. When lifting heavy weights, you want to be able to stabilize your core and move from your hips. And this is what a lot of people, especially beginners, struggle with. So learning how to properly hinge at the hips while keeping your back flat is essential for learning proper technique and using your legs in hip hinge exercises and not overcompensating with your lower back. I'll perform 3 sets of 10 of the Romanian deadlifts at a moderate weight with a very slow tempo. I started with going 3 seconds down and 3 seconds up. I increased that to 4 seconds down, 4 seconds up, and 5 seconds down, 5 seconds up to really drill in the technique and the movement patterns required for proper hip hinge. If you have tight hamstrings or a weak posterior chain, you might find it very difficult to get low enough. You might find it very difficult to get low in the Romanian deadlift while keeping your back flat. Don't focus on how low you can get if you're going to perform this. Focus on how low you can go while maintaining a neutral spine. As soon as your spine starts to flex, you've gone too low. Please note that this is what I did to help fix my neglected recovery from straining my back and strengthening my weak and inactive muscles. These exercises may or may not be helpful for you, but if you have pain from a bulging disc or have been diagnosed by a physiotherapist or some other condition where extension at the spine is what's causing you pain, these exercises may not be of value to you. But if they are, leave a comment if you've tried them and let me know how your experience of back pain is going and what you have done to help cope with the discomfort and even get yourself out of long-term pain.